Hello. So this is a kind of a special topic video, sort of out of sequence. It popped up as a result of a conversation between myself and the man who runs the Knight Errant channel. Good guy. We happen to know each other offline. Knew each other uh, before either of us started the web series. Before me, I started mine before he started his. He has a lot more fans than I am, but his topic, despite being medieval history and armor, you'd think would be a very limited beard audience. Anyway, um, we talked about a mutual acquaintance who will probably see this video and wonder if it's about him. And yes, it mostly is. He lives in New Jersey, and maybe he has red hair like I do. And he might just be an undiagnosed Aspie or high functioning autistic, although I lean towards high functioning autistic. Could be wrong. But up came the topic of anxiety. And I, again, am not a professional, but I have experienced my fair share of anxiety. And the truth is, everyone has. And with us Aspies and high functioning autistics and others, tends to be a little stronger. I have a mood disorder, specifically mood disorder, not otherwise specified, severe emotional handicap. It normally goes away after childhood, and I could be lucky and still have it as an adult. So it's less than fun. It tends to mean my emotions go from 0 to 100 miles an hour with not a lot in between. My wife can attest that that's true, and it makes me hard to live with. You'd be wondering where she is. She'd be very useful in this video. She's off doing chefy things because that's what she is. She's a chef, being productive, earning money for the house. But anxiety could be said to be a form of worry, a form of fear, maybe where fear and worry really meet. It causes, I apologize, having an allergic reaction allergy attack for no particular reason other than there's a snowstorm in Reno right now. And like, I mean, I know these words aren't going to be a lot of comfort, but like Chun said in the old movie Remo Williams' The Adventure Begins, a mid-'80s film, fun if you haven't seen it. He says, fear is just a feeling. You feel hot, you feel cold, you feel tired, you feel afraid. Fear cannot kill you. It is just a feeling. He says this while jumping up onto a ledge, overlooking traffic and scaring his student. He runs along the ledge, and no big deal. Point was that you can overcome fear. Hal Jordan of the Green Lantern Corps, the one for whom Ryan Reynolds played, was supposed to have had the unique ability to overcome fear no matter what. That's how he came over. He overcame Pentalax, heart attacks, Similax, laxative. Oh, I forget the guy's name. The pretty much the original Yellow Lantern, who would feed on fear and eat people, and he was one of the original guardians of Oa, and figured that yellow, the color of fear, is more powerful, so on and so forth. He was fought many times. There's probably a comic book geek that is watching that can fill me in on it below. Please do. I'm spacing on it, and I don't have the time to research. And just a nice summation of what I was just talking about would be great. To get back to the anxiety, it will kill you, just not in the way you think. It will keep you from having a life. Social anxiety, anxiety of outside, anxiety of new situations, anxiety of criminals, anxiety of fill in the blank, will keep you from having a life. You will be alive technically, but if you don't go out and do things, if you don't make your life about something, then you're dead. You just don't know it yet. You're going to get older, you're going to experience time, but you're not alive. You're dead in here. So this particular person, he does some medieval history stuff. He attempts some Western martial arts stuff. I've talked to him. He's a friend, and he doesn't get out and do things. Um, I'm a stubborn son of a bitch, and uh, one of the best ways to get me to do something is the joke. Best way to get me to do something is to tell me I can't do it. Uh, when I completed the Spartan race, it kicked my ass. It won. My wife kept me going, but I was anxious about that race. I had never run a mile without having a severe asthma attack. I was supposed to now race 5, ended up racing 4.1, but I was supposed to go up in the mountains. I was supposed to do all this stuff that I just was not prepared for. No matter how much physical effort I'd done, I was anxious about that. I did it. I overcame it by just jumping in. Um, I used the mental picture of someone going skydiving for the first time. How do you overcome the anxiety of skydiving? You jump out. Now, no matter how anxious you are about skydiving, you're skydiving. You either pull your ripcord and deal with things, or you die. It's very. I like to kind of. That's how I deal with my anxiety personally. I reduce it down to a 2 result issue. Either I do this, or I do this. Either I pull the ripcord, or I die. When I had my accident on my motorcycle some months back, when the fucker in the Mercedes pulled out in front of me and I had to lay down my bike, I went out the very next week and I rode as soon as I could. I drove past that spot as soon as I could. I rode past that spot. I follow Hurstwick, and the man who runs that, William Short, had a horrible accident a year ago. And he was riding a BMW sport touring bike, and somebody crossed in the wrong lane and hit him head on. And he ended up in a hospital for weeks. Completely not his fault. And he recently, many months later, went by the place, and he recently replaced the motorcycle, and he rode past that place to prove to himself that the fear wasn't going to win. And when it comes to anxiety, if it's severe enough, you need meds. Sorry, you just need meds, and there's not enough willpower for most people to deal with that. Some people can, but meds are still helpful. It's like dealing with pain, I suppose. Um, you can have a high pain tolerance. Doesn't mean codeine doesn't become your friend. Therapy can help, but the solution ultimately has to come from yourself. It can't be given to you, and it can't be shaped for you. You have to figure out how to do it. If you have anxiety about college, the only way you're ever going to fix it is to go to college. If you have anxiety about the war shaping up in the Middle East, Russia, and Syria, and Turkey, tough shit. The only thing I could say is you're not going to die from it. You're not in the military. And if you are, you've got a lot of guys looking out for you. There were like the odds of you dying, even in the war on terror, were actually fairly low. People did die. Many thousands of people did die. But if you were an American, the odds were low. So let's say you're a civilian in America. The war going on over there isn't going to kill you. Yellowstone blowing up, a car accident, a bee sting, a lightning strike are more likely things to kill you. More people, in fact, and I'm not making this up, 450 times as many Americans died last year from food poisoning than from terrorism. And the odds are 1 in 38, well, actually almost 39 million meals that meal is going to kill you. 39 million meals. You will not eat that many meals in your life. But yet, one could kill you. 9,000 people a year still die. And that's despite ServSafe and HACCP and these food safety things that you wouldn't believe. They're very good. Okay, so, there were a lot more. And when you do the numbers, 9,000 is actually a very, very small result. But there's all these things that could kill you. And to worry about that war is to cause yourself anxiety. It's literally taking a pin, putting it on the ground, and stepping on it, and then complaining about how much it hurts, and trying to get everyone to give you sympathy because it hurts. And people say, well, then don't put pins on the ground and step on them. And you take a pin, you put it on the ground, and you step on it. People go, why are you doing that? Well, I can't help it. Well, then help it. Stop it. But you don't understand. I have a problem. Yeah, you have a low pain tolerance, and you're stepping on pins. Stop stepping on pins. Or Legos. Let's admit it. Legos and D4s, the pyramid dice, are worse than pins. They hurt a hell of a lot more. So you could say, well, I'm walking around my barefoot in my apartment and I step on Legos. Stop playing with Legos. Put them away when you're done. Well, I step on D4s. Don't drop your D4s on the ground. There's all these easy solutions, but you refuse to carry them out. And then you have the anxiety, you see. That's the exact equivalent. The low pain tolerance, stepping on Legos, is like having anxiety and causing yourself to have it. If you can actually make yourself non-functional. Now this goes back to my excuses thing. I've known people, and I know people to this day, who have severe anxiety and do all they can to fight it. In fact, I know a woman with severe anxiety who, if it wasn't for her fibromyalgia, which I have flat out seen her pop as many pills as she can healthily take, and it still isn't enough to get her out of bed, and call for help and go like, I don't know what to do. That's a disease. That's a physical disease that she can't do anything about. But anxiety, you can. Build up barriers. Like I said, if you have great anxiety about riding motorcycles, the best solution is to go take a motorcycle safety foundation class. There's actually 3 or 4 in my area, and they will step by step, bada bing, bada boom, they'll take you through it. If you have anxiety about learning to drive a car, the solution is literally to learn to drive a car. You may still be anxious, but your anxiety may lower itself, probably will lower itself, to the point that you can drive. And you say, but Sean, you are special, you are this, you are that. You know not of what you speak. Bullshit. I was horribly anxious about getting married. And you're saying, oh, well, that's different. Well, let me give you a true, honest to God story. When I was 8 years old, I got bucked off a horse. And I was brain damaged. I don't remember that day. I may have, in fact, I may have convergence issues. My eyes don't line up because of that brain damage to this day. I'm 36. I couldn't get on a horse till I was 28. And if you say, oh, well, you've been doing things. Yeah, there's a lot of times you can point in my life and say, I just jumped off the diving board into the pool, being afraid of swimming. Effectively, that's what I did for the situation. But I have 20 years before I'd ride a horse. I'll do it. I just don't find any pleasure in it. But I could be around horses. I could help with horses. I could do anything with a horse you wanted me to. No problem. Horses don't bug me. But for 20 years, you put me on a horse, I'd freak out. And I was just like, I'm not going to do that. Well, it was probably more like 10 years. But my mom didn't have horses. After I was a teenager, she didn't have access. And until I was in my 20s. And it didn't honestly occur to me until I was 28 that I hadn't been on a horse in 20 years. And I had to beat this demon. And that's what your anxiety is. It's a demon. It's telling you you can't. It's going to kill you. It's this, it's that. And it's screaming in your ears. You can't let it win. You just can't. Because again, you let your anxiety win, you might as well kill off part of that life. To quote George Carlin, what are you going to do? Sit at home in your underwear, eating Cheetos and masturbating for the rest of your life? Safe? Wrap yourself in bubble wrap? Safe? You're an alpha predator without fangs or claws or fur or scales or any real particular trick except for running until your prey falls down and lets you kill it. That's it. You're an endurance hunter and you're the alpha predator on the planet. So good at killing other things that you're about to wipe out all life. You are the alpha predator, the result of millions of years of evolution. You should start bloody well acting like it. Seriously. And if that saying that to yourself gets you out of the couch and out there and kicking ass, great. And if it's a soft voice saying, come on, you can do it. It's all for you. Don't worry about it. Great. But whatever it is, you can't let your anxiety win. Because it wants to win and it will kill you. And to say, well, you don't understand. I have an excuse. Anxiety, severe anxiety of any stripe, will ruin your life as surely as alcohol addiction, as drug addiction, as surely as any of that. Because they all take something away and never give it back. You are stronger than your problems. Maybe you can't beat them all completely, but you sure as hell can make them less. You owe it to yourself, this victory.